Ya Ali Madad, to everybody who is online, thank you for keeping the time. And today, our global lecture series take on an additional importance because of what has happened between last Sunday and today. In 1 week, we have witnessed, all of us, young and old, we have witnessed very historic events in the Ismaili Tariqa. And of course, there are many, many questions amongst the Jamaat. And inshallah, in this session today as well, we will do our utmost to answer some of the questions which have already come to us. And just to say that this whole series of lectures have been to prepare the Jamaat with a deeper understanding of our tariqah and to understand the hakikat of the Imam of the time. So we'll start our session as usual with a short prayer, and then Dr. Saib will speak and I will translate, and there will be a question time as well.
نور مولانا شاہ رحیم الحسینی حضر امام حضر امام حسن اللہ ونعم الوکیل ونعم المولا ونعم النصیر حسن اللہ ونعم الوکیل ونعم المولا ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير نصير الحي القيوم نصير الحي القيوم نصير الحي القيوم إلهي جاري بجارگانكم إلهي رحمتي بربندگانكم إلهي رحمة الدريا يا مس وزنجا قطري مرا تمامس گناهداری بیش از کوه یالوان گناه از بندگو حافظ خداوند خداوند سعادت یاری ما کن زرحمت یک نظر در کاری ما کن یا اکرم الاکرمین یا ارحم الراحمین یا نور مولانا شاہ رحیم الحسینی حاضر امام مومنین مومنات جس طرح رشید صاحب نے ذکر کیا یہ پورا ہفتہ بہت بڑا ہفتہ ہے اس میں نور امامت کے عاشقوں کے لیے بڑی بڑی بشارتیں ہیں کیونکہ جن کو امام شناسی ہے آج مولانا نے ایک نیا لباس پہنا ہے اور اس لباس کے اندر کتنی بڑی بڑی سیکرٹس ہیں بیلس ہیں اسرار ہیں ان کے جاننے سے مومنین و مومنین کو کتنی خوشی ہوتی ہے اس کا ذکر ہے تو مومنین سب سے پہلے ہمارے سب کے عاجزانہ دعا یہی ہونی چاہیے کہ خداوند حی و حاضر نے اپنے بھی پایان رحمت سے ہمارے مقدس مذہب کے بارے میں حقیقتوں کو جاننے کے لیے جس مقدس علم کا وسیلہ ہم کو عطا فرمایا ہے اس کے لیے ہم شکر گزاری کریں کہ اس پاک علم کی روشنی میں دین کی حقیقتوں کو دیکھنے سے بہت خوشی ہوتی ہے مومنین و مومنات کے لیے بہت خوشی ہے اور اس سلسلے میں آج نور امامت کے بارے میں ہر چند کے پہلے مولا کے فضل سے بہت باتیں ہو چکی ہیں. آج دوبارہ اس کی طرف، اس سبجیکٹ کی طرف جا رہے ہیں اور مولا کے حضور میں عاجزانہ درخواست کرتے ہیں کہ خداوند حی و حاضر ہم سب کو اپنے مقدس نور کی جو صحیح شناخت ہے، اپنے مقدس نور کی جو صحیح شناخت ہے، اس شناخت سے سب کو نوازے اور اس شناخت کی تعلیم ہم تمام دنیائی انسانیت کو دے سکے. مومنین و مومنات، خداوند رب العزت نے اپنا جو جسمانی لباس اختیار کیا ہے، اس جسمانی لباس کو یا بشری لباس اس کو کہتے ہیں، ہم مولا کا جامہ کہتے ہیں. جامہ فارسی لفظ ہے، لباس عربی لفظ ہے، اور اٹائر یا جو کچھ بھی چاہے انگلش میں آپ ترجمہ کر سکتے ہیں. سب سے پہلے یہ جاننا ضروری ہے کہ امام کے لیے، پیغمبر کے لیے، یہاں تک کہ ہمارے بزرگان دین کے لیے ہم موت کا لفظ استعمال نہیں کرتے ہیں. موت کا لفظ استعمال نہیں کرتے ہیں، بلکہ اس کی جگہ پر جب ہم ان کا نام لیا جاتا ہے یا اس دنیا کو چھوڑ دیتے ہیں تو ان کے ناموں کے ساتھ ہم کہتے ہیں کہ فلان امام نے اپنا جامہ بدل دیا. جامہ بدل دیا یعنی دوسرا لباس پہن لیا. آپ جانتے ہیں کہ لباس کے بدلنے سے جو شخصیت ہے، جو پرسنالٹی ہے، اس میں کوئی فرق نہیں آتا ہے. جسمانی لحاظ سے جب ہم اپنا لباس بدل دیتے ہیں تو کتنی خوشی ہوتی ہے. یہی بات نور امامت کی بھی ہے. حضرت مولانا سلطان محمد شاہ فداہ ارواحنا فرماتے ہیں کہ ہم اس دنیا میں آپ کی نجات کے لیے آتے ہیں. اور جسمانی طور پر ہر امام نے اپنے اپنے وقت میں اپنے فرمان برداروں کو اور پوری دنیائی انسانیت کو روحانی علم سے مالا مال کرنے کے لیے یہاں آئے ہیں. اس کے لیے انہوں نے جسمانی طور پر بہت محنت کی ہے، اور جسمانی طور پر ان کا لباس بھی الگ الگ حالات سے گزر رہے ہیں، یہاں تک کہ بچپن سے لے کر جوانی سے بڑھاپے تک۔ کسی بزرگ نے فرمایا، گاہ پیرو گاہ طفلو گاہ برنامی شود۔ ایک ایسی حقیقت ہے کہ کبھی بچے کی صورت میں، کبھی جوانی میں، اور کبھی بڑھاپے میں اس کا ظہور ہوتا رہتا ہے، لیکن یہ کائنات اس مقدس ظہور سے کبھی خالی نہیں ہوتی ہے، اور اس مقدس ظہور کے لیے خدا جو اپنا لباس استعمال کرتا ہے، وہ وہی لباس ہوتا ہے جو انسانوں کی طرح ہو۔ انسان اس عظیم مقدس ہستی کو اپنی ظاہری آنکھوں سے دیکھ سکے، ان کے کلام کو سن سکے، اور اس پر عمل کر سکے۔ اس لیے فرمان برداروں اور پوری دنیائی انسانیت کی بھلائی کے لیے رحمت کے طور پر انسانی لباس اختیار کیا ہے۔ یہ نوٹ کرنا بہت ہی ضروری ہے مومنین، انسانوں کے لیے رحمت کے طور پر، یہ نہیں کہ وہ اس جسم کا محتاج ہے، بلکہ اس کے دیدار کے لیے محتاج ہم ہیں، اور ہم کو دیدار عنایت کرنے کے لیے انہوں نے انسانی لباس اختیار کیا ہے، اور یہ انسانی لباس جب سے اس کی خلقت ہے، جب سے اس کی کریشن ہے، تب سے اس انسانی لباس کے ظہور سے کبھی دنیا خالی نہیں رہی ہے۔ تو مومنین و مومنات، اس حقیقت کو سمجھنے کے لیے فی الحال ہم اس سبجیکٹ کو 3 حصوں میں تقسیم کر سکتے ہیں، اور سب کا ذکر قرآن کریم میں ہے۔ قرآن کریم خدا کی سب سے اہم ترین کتاب ہے۔ اس کے اندر جو گزشتہ خدا کی کتابیں انسانی ہدایت کے لیے آئی ہے، ان کی حقیقت بھی قرآن کریم میں ہے، اور خدا نے اس کے لیے ایک لفظ استعمال کیا ہے، اور وہ لفظ ہے محیمن۔ محیمن اس کا دوسرا لفظ عربی میں محافظ ہے۔ اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ خدا نے انسان کی ہدایت کے لیے جن کتابوں کو بھیجا ہے، منکرین نے ان کو مٹانے کی کوشش کی ہے، لیکن خدا کے کلام کو وہ کبھی مٹا نہیں سکتے ہیں۔ اس لیے وہ تمام ہدایات بھی قرآن کریم میں ہے، لیکن قرآن کریم میں اس لیے ہے کہ وہ جس کی صورت میں ہے، اس کا جو ایسنس ہے اسی صورت میں قرآن کریم میں، قرآن کریم کے ساتھ دوسری تمام کتابوں کے اندر جو حقیقتیں ہیں وہ سب کے سب قرآن کریم میں خدا نے رکھا ہے۔ تو یہ تین حصوں میں تقسیم کرنے کا مقصد یہ ہے سبجیکٹ کو، کہ سب سے پہلے ہم دنیای انسانیت پر نظر رکھیں۔ امام شناسی جو ہے کتنا یونیورسل سبجیکٹ ہے، عالمگیر سبجیکٹ ہے۔ پہلے وہاں سمجھنے کی کوشش کریں، پھر جب آن حضرت نے خاتم النبیین کی حیثیت میں جو دعوت دی ہے اس کی طرف دیکھیں، اور اس کے ساتھ کس طرح یہ نور دنیا میں جاری اور ساری ہے، ان آیات کی طرف دیکھیں تو انشاءاللہ مولا کی نورانی تائید سے امام شناسی ہمارے لیے بہت آسان ہی ہو جائے گی سمجھنے کے لیے۔ تو مومنین، سب سے پہلے یونیورسل انڈرسٹینڈنگ تمام دنیای انسانیت کے لیے قرآن میں جو ارشاد ہے، بارہا آپ نے پڑھا ہے کہ خدا فرماتا ہے کہ میں دنیا میں انسانیت کی ہدایت کے لیے زمین پر اپنا ایک خلیفہ مقرر کرتا ہوں۔ خلیفہ کے معنی بھی آپ اچھی طرح سے جانتے ہیں۔ اس کا ایک خوبصورت ترجمہ فارسی میں جانشین ہے، یعنی وہ ہستی جو کسی دوسری ہستی کی جگہ پر بیٹھتا ہے۔ تو خدا کے خلیفہ کے معنی ہے جو خدا کی جگہ پر بیٹھ کر جو بھی وہ کام کرتا ہے خدا کی جگہ پر کام کرتا ہے۔ اس کا ذکر سورہ بقرہ میں آیت نمبر 30، انی جاعل فی الارض خلیفہ۔ تو مومنین و مومنات، ظاہری صورت میں خلیفے کی دو صورتیں ہیں۔ ایک اس کو خلیفہ کہتے ہیں جب کوئی شخص دنیا سے چلا جاتا ہے تو اس کی جگہ کو لینے کے لیے اس کی جگہ پر کوئی آتا ہے۔ دوسری صورت یہ ہے کہ جب ایک بہت بڑی سلطنت ہوتی ہے، امپائر، اس کے نیچے چھوٹی چھوٹی سلطنتیں ہوتی ہیں، وہاں پر ایک خلیفہ مقرر کیا جاتا ہے امپرر کی طرف سے، شہنشاہ کی طرف سے۔ تو کیونکہ جسمانی طور پر بادشاہ ہر جگہ پر نہیں پہنچ سکتا ہے، اس لیے اپنا ایک نمائندہ وہاں مقرر کر دیتا ہے۔ لیکن خدا جو ہے اس سے بہت برتر ہے، وہ تو ہر جگہ پر حاضر اور ناظر ہے، اور اس کے لیے کوئی موت نہیں ہے۔ تو پھر اس صورت میں خدا کے خلیفے کے معنی کیا ہے؟ خدا کے خلیفے کے یہ معنی ہے کہ خدا اگر اپنی تجلی اپنی حقیقت کے ساتھ ظاہر ہو جائے تو کوئی برداشت نہیں کر سکے گا اس کی تجلی کو۔ آپ نے حضرت موسیٰ کے قصے میں پڑھا ہے کہ حضرت موسیٰ نے عرض کیا کہ باری خدایا مجھے اپنی حقیقت دکھا دو۔ خدا نے اپنی حقیقت کی ایک جھلک دکھائی سامنے پہاڑ پر، تو پہاڑ کے ریزے ریزے ہو گئے۔ مطلب یہ ہے اگر ایک پیغمبر جو ہے خدا کی اس حقیقت کو برداشت نہیں کر سکتا ہے، پھر دوسروں کا کیا حال ہوگا؟ اس لیے انسانوں کی ضرورت کی وجہ سے خدا نے از روی رحمت اپنی جو بے پناہ رحمت ہے ان کو دیدار دینے کے لیے اپنا ایک جسمانی لباس اختیار کیا ہے، اور اصل جو حقیقت ہے اس لباس کے پیچھے پوشیدہ رکھا ہے۔ ہاں، وہاں تک کوئی نیکبخت عارف بہت سے روحانی امتحانات سے گزر کر وہ دیدار بھی ان کو نصیب ہوتا ہے، لیکن جن عارفوں کو یہ دیدار نصیب ہوا ہے کہتے ہیں وہ چند سیکنڈ سے زیادہ وہ بھی برداشت نہیں کر سکتے ہیں۔ تو اس لیے مومنین و مومنات، آج ہم امام کی طرف دیکھیں، اس حقیقت کے ساتھ دیکھنے کی ضرورت ہے، اس علم کی روشنی میں دیکھنے کی ضرورت ہے، نہیں تو خدا کے خلیفے کو بھی اگر ہم انسان ہی سمجھیں یہ بہت بڑی غلطی ہوگی۔ اس لیے پیر صدر الدین نے فرمایا ہے کہ اے منیورو، اے مومنو، خیال رکھنا کہ امام صرف ایک انسان نہیں ہے، لباس انسان کا ہے، لیکن جو حقیقت اندر پوشیدہ ہے وہ خداوند ہی ہے، جس کے لیے قرآن کریم میں آیا هو الأول والآخر والظاہر والباطن، وہ بیک وقت اول بھی ہے، آخر بھی ہے، باطن بھی ہے، اور ساتھ ساتھ ظاہر بھی ہے۔ تو ظاہر سے مطلب یہاں انسانی لباس ہے۔ پھر اس انسان کے اندر کیا کیا حقیقتیں ہیں، خدا نے فرمایا اسی سورہ میں، سورہ نمبر 34 میں خدا فرماتا ہے کہ میں نے جب حضرت آدم کے اندر اپنی روح پھونک دی، اپنی روح، خدا کی روح، اور فرشتوں کو حکم دیا آدم کے لیے سجدہ کرو، سب نے، تمام فرشتوں نے سجدہ کیا سوائے ابلیس کے۔ اور پھر ابلیس کا کیا حشر ہوا؟ صرف ابلیس نے آدم کو آدم سمجھا تھا، یا کہا کہ خدا یا تو نے آدم کو مٹی سے پیدا کیا ہے اور مجھے آگ سے پیدا کیا ہے۔ خلیفہ خدا کو صرف آدم سمجھنے کے خطرات کو آپ دیکھ لیجئے کیا حشر ہوتا ہے۔ تو الغرض مومنین و مومنات، اس خدا کے خلیفے سے دنیا کبھی خالی نہیں رہی ہے۔ تو اس سے ہم آگے بڑھ رہے ہیں، یہاں سے آگے بڑھتے بڑھتے حضرت آدم کا انتخاب خدا نے کیا، لیکن یہ انتخاب صرف حضرت آدم تک نہیں تھا، جاری رہا دنیا میں۔ سورہ نمبر 3 اور آیت نمبر 33 اور 34 ملا کر پڑھے، ان اللہ اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل ابراہیم وآل عمران علی العالمین ذریۃ بعضها من بعض۔ یہ ذریت ہمیشہ قائم اور دائم رہنے والی ہے۔ ہوتے ہوتے نبوت کا دور ختم ہوا، آن حضرت تک ہم پہنچتے ہیں۔ اسی نور کو جاری رہنا تھا، تو پیغمبر کے لیے خدا نے کیا فرمایا؟ قد جاءکم من اللہ نور و کتاب مبین۔ پہلے نور کا ذکر کیا، پیغمبر پہلے نور ہے، اس نور کا ذکر جسمانی لباس میں ہوا، اور پھر اس کے ساتھ خدا نے کیا فرمایا؟ یا ایھا النبی انا ارسلناک شاہدا، انا ارسلناک شاہدا
مبشرا
جی
ومبشرا
مبشرا وداعیا الی اللہ باذنہ وسراجا منیرا۔ یہاں سب سے امپورٹنٹ سراج منیر ہے، روشن چراغ ہے دنیا میں۔ اور پھر پیغمبر کے لیے خدا نے کیا فرمایا؟ سورہ نمبر 4 اور آیت نمبر 80، وَمَن يُطِعِ الرَّسُولَ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهَ، جس نے رسول کی اطاعت کی اس نے خدا کی اطاعت کی۔ پیغمبر کے اندر خدا کا نور نہ ہوتا تو پھر پیغمبر کی اطاعت، خدا کی اطاعت کس طرح ہو سکتی ہے؟ اور جس طرح آیہ بیعت ہم میں روزانہ پڑھتے ہیں، جس نے پیغمبر کی بیعت کی اس نے خدا کی بیعت کی، اور خدا کا ہاتھ ان کے ہاتھوں کے اوپر ہے۔ تو قرآن کریم سے اس طرح جو ہے ترتیب وار سسٹمیٹیکلی نور امامت کو سمجھنے کی ضرورت ہے. کوئی اسماعیلی مذہب اچانک کہیں سے پیدا نہیں ہوا جس طرح کچھ لوگوں کو مغالطہ ہے. مولانا سلطان فرماتے ہیں یہ سب سے قدیم مذہب ہے، خدا کا مذہب. خدا کے مذہب سے مطلب اصل میں خدا کا نور ہی ہے. اس نور کے بغیر دنیا کی کوئی کتاب خود بول کر خود لوگوں کو سمجھا بجھانا جو ہے یہ کا کام نہیں ہے. یہ نور ہی ہے جس نے کتاب کی صورت بھی اختیار کی ہے. تو وہاں سے آگے بڑھے تو پیغمبر کا یہ نور امامت کی صورت میں دنیا میں جاری اور ساری ہے. اس کے لیے آپ آیہ نور میں دیکھ لیجئے. آیہ نور میں خدا کیا فرماتا ہے؟ خدا جو آسمانوں اور زمینوں کا نور ہے، یہ نور درخت زیتون کے تیل سے جل رہا ہے، اور یہ ایک ایسا مصباح ہے، چراغ ہے کہ جس کو ظاہری آگ لگانے کی ضرورت نہیں ہے. ظاہری آگ سے اگر یہ چراغ روشن ہوتا تو اس کی ایک ابتدا معلوم ہوتی ہے اور ایک انتہا معلوم ہوتی ہے. لیکن یہ مقدس نور جو ہے نہ اس کی ابتدا ہے اور نہ ہی انتہا ہے. یہ دائم اور قائم حقیقت ہے. اور اس دائم اور قائم حقیقت کو دکھانے کے لیے اسی آیت کے اندر خدا فرماتا ہے وہ نور علی نور ہے. ایک نور کے اوپر دوسرا نور. یہاں علی کی ضرورت کیوں ہوئی؟ ایک نور کے اوپر دوسرا نور یعنی امام کا ایک جامع ہوتا ہے، جسمانی جامع. پھر اس امام کے بعد دوسرا امام آتا ہے، اس جسم کے لحاظ سے نور علی نور ہے. اگر امام کا یہ نور نہ ہوتا تو نور علی نور کہنے کی ضرورت ہی نہیں ہوتی. تو مومنین و مومنات، یہ امام کا مقدس جسم ہمارے بزرگان دین نے ایک مثال دی ہے. یہ شیشے کی میگنیفائنگ گلاس کیا کہتے ہیں؟ میگنیفائنگ گلاس کے لیے دنیا میں سورج کی گرمی تو ہے، لیکن سورج کی گرمی تک رسائی کے لیے جب تک کوئی میگنیفائنگ گلاس نہ ہو جو سورج کی گرمی کو جمع کر کے دوسروں تک پہنچا سکے تو تب اس نور تک کوئی نہیں پہنچ سکتا ہے. خداوندی نور تک پہنچنے کے لیے امام کا جسمانی لباس اتنا ہی ضروری ہے. اگر امام کا جسمانی لباس نہ ہو، ان تک کوئی نہ پہنچ سکے تو پھر اس کی حقیقت تک کوئی کس طرح پہنچ سکتا ہے؟ تو اس لیے مومنین و مومنات آپ کتنے نیکبخت ہیں، آپ کو یہ حقیقت معلوم ہو گئی ہے کہ دنیا میں یہ ہستی لباس پہنتے بھی ہے उतारती भी है, लेकिन इससे उस हकीकत पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। वो हमेशा जारी और सारी है। और इस मुकद्दस लिबास के जरिए मोमिनीन और मोमिनात को इमाम उल मुत्तकीन की हैसियत में और सारी कायनात को इमाम नास के हैसियत में रहमतों और किरामतों का सिलसिला जारी है। तो मोमिनीन मोमिनात, आज मौला का जो नया जामा है, आप सबके लिए, हम सब के लिए, और दुनिया में जहाँ मोमिनीन मोमिनात हैं सबके लिए, और पूरी दुनिया इंसानियत के लिए मुबारक हो। और अमन मौला अपनी बेपायान रहमत से अपने नूर की, रहमत की, किरामतों की, मुजज़ात की बरसात बरसाता रखे। आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन। मैं यहाँ पर रुक जाता हूँ। मैं रशीदा से अर्ज कर रहा हूँ कि इसका कुछ तर्जुमा आपको बता दें।
Ya Nur Maulana, Ya Nur Maulana Shah Rahim al Husseini Hazir Imam. So we started by saying that what a momentous week it has been for all Ismailis and for the entire creation. That in this week, those who have what we call Hakikati Ilm, Ilmul Yaqeen, they will have understood all the secrets and all the esoteric realities of what has happened and that which we have witnessed. And this will have given them great satisfaction and happiness, because knowledge is a wasila, it is an intermediary, it is a ilmul yaqeen, which we should be grateful for, because when we look at anything to do with our faith and with the personality of the Imam through the light of this knowledge of certainty, then we have great happiness. But if we do not have this hakikati knowledge, then we are likely to be confused or upset and unhappy. So Fakir Sahib said a dua that may Mola give us true recognition of his nur, and so we can explain, we can first of all understand what all these batin, esoteric, spiritual matters are, and we can also articulate them to others who wish to learn about what we believe. And we all know that in the Ismaili Tariqa, we never use the word maut. We never say that for a human being, we say they died on such and such a date. Or those who are more careful with their language would say passed away. In the Ismaili history and theology, we have always used the word to change the jama. Now, the word jama is a Farsi word, and in English, you would translate that into physical attire or clothes, set of clothes. Yes, and in Farsi, it would be called libas. So we never use this word death for prophets, imams, and peers, and those arifs who have died before death. We say they have changed their jama, they have changed their attire, they have changed their set of physical clothing, and they have taken on a new set of clothing or attire. Now, just logically, Dr. Saib has said that when a human being changes a set of clothes, what a difference it makes to their personality. Does it make any difference to their personality? No, they have a fresh set of clothes. The personality within the clothes remains the same. And this is the same with the changing of the jama of the Imam, the changing of the bodily attire, that this is a new set of clothing, but the nur is the same, the personality is the same. Mawlana Sultan Mosha had said in his farmans, Mubarak farmans, that we come to this world for your salvation. Every Imam in his time has blessed his followers, that is the Momins, with spiritual knowledge. And for that, he gives them, he can be, the Imam can be become an Imam at any age. We all know that Mawlana Sultan Moshe became an Imam at the age of 7. And Mawlana Zainul Abidin was, they say, about 14. And Shah Karim was 20 years old. He was still at Harvard. And today we have Shah Rahim, who is a bit older. So whatever the libas, whatever the bodily attire, be it a child, be it an adolescent, be it a middle-aged person, be it an older person, it does not matter. The point is that the nur is the same. And in whichever age he manifests, meaning age in terms of his age, so whether he's young, old, or middle-aged, it doesn't matter. The point which matters is that this nur has to be present in whatever attire it is. And that attire has to be the one which is the same for those who need guidance. Why does the Imam why does the light of God take on a human form? So that he can communicate with other human beings, because this mercy of guidance is for those who are rational human beings, and the human beings need to see their guide. They need to hear this guide. They need to follow this guide. And it is for this sake that the Imam takes on this bodily attire. Therefore, we should understand that the bodily attire of the Imam is a great mercy from God for us, humankind. We need his didar. Therefore, he has to take on this human attire. And this is always present. And we have gone through many ahadiths of the Holy Prophet that this world cannot be without an Imam, even for a moment. So this nur has always been present in the world in a physical form, and the earth, the creation, has never been devoid of it. And then Dr. Saib said that we should look at this whole subject in 3 different sections, and all of these can be proved from the Holy Quran. And why do we say the Holy Quran? Because it is a final revelation of God, and therefore it includes all the realities of the previous books. And in fact, the Quran itself tells us that it is the muhaymin or mahafiz of the previous scriptures, meaning God has preserved or protected all the guidance which was in the previous scriptures in the Holy Quran, even though many disbelievers have tried to destroy the guidance of God. So these 3 subjects, will start with the first, these 3 sections of the same subject. The first one is the recognition of Imam is a universal subject. It's universal. It's in every book that has been revealed to God. It's in every religion. Everybody believes that there is a guide. So it is completely universal. Then we'll come on to the invitation, the mission of the Holy Prophet, which he finally gave about the continuation of his progeny. And then through the Quranic verses, we look at how this nur is always present. So first, what is a universal understanding? The universal understanding, which is in all religions, is that God has appointed a Khalifa, for which the Arabic word is Khalifa. It has a very beautiful synonym in Farsi, which is Nishin. That God has appointed this Khalifa or Nishin for the guidance of human beings. And the word Janashin or Khalifa means the one who sits in place of God, so that all his acts and words are God's acts and words. So this is a very important point for us to remember, because the minute we see our faith in this light, then all those questions come to an end, which are focused on the physical attire of the Imam. And then Dr. Sahib explained that this is in the Holy Quran in Surah 2, Ayah 30, Inni Ja'ilun fil arzi Khalifa, that God declares to the angels that I am going to appoint a vicegerent in the earth. And this is the Khalifa or Janashin that is the reality mentioned in all scriptures, in all religions. Now, the word Khalifa is a word of the many languages like Arabic and Urdu and others. Khalifa is used for somebody who succeeds the previous Khalifa. Yes, and also it can be used, for instance, if there is an empire, like the British had an empire at one time, then at that time the queen and the king could not reach every corner of the empire. What did they do? They appointed vicegerents or viceroys in different parts of the empire. So the Khalifa can have two meanings. However, these two meanings are worldly meanings, and God is above all such worldly matters. And therefore, Dr. Sahib quoted the example of Hazrat Musa's story in the Holy Quran, where Hazrat Musa humbly requests God to show him his manifestation. And God says to him, a prophet, that I will put my manifestation on this mountain, and you will witness what will happen to this mountain. And the story goes on to describe how when God does manifest on that mountain, it smashes into smithereens. So if, according to the Quran, God is warning a prophet that his didar directly is very hard to bear, then what about ordinary human beings like us? So, in order to make it easy for us, in order to give didar which we can bear, he has taken on human form. And at this point, Dr. Saib clarified that whoever in the Ismaili Tariqah reaches the level of dying before death and becomes a perfect arif, one who has complete marifa, then that person also is blessed with that final didar, but that only lasts for moments. And we went on to talk about Pir Sadruddin in our Ginan, which is in all these books which our Itrabs have published. And I'm going to read out to you the exact words so that you are all aware of it. And it is a very, very important verse. Pir Sadruddin says, एक फिकर मुनिवर अमने छे तमारी मानस रूपे साहिब जानो. So he said, Pir Sadruddin, 500, 600 years ago, that we are worried on one account, that our followers will only regard the Imam as simply a human being. Don't make that mistake, because that mistake is very easy to make, particularly in this time that we are passing through. And this is a mistake which, as you know, many people have made throughout history. And Dr. Saib is repeating those ayats of the Quran where God says in Surah 57, Ayah 3, that He is the first, the last, the Zahir, as well as the Batin. Well, how can God be Zahir if not in the best of His creation, which is a human being? Similarly, in Surah 2, Ayah 34, after the Inni Jailun fil Arzi Khalifa, God says that He breathed His spirit into Hazrat Adam, and all the angels obeyed God and prostrated to Hazrat Adam, except Iblis, who gave more importance to the physical form of Hazrat Adam, and said, you have made him out of clay. So this is the Quranic knowledge is so important at this time, because when you go to Surah Al Imran, Surah 3, and you look at Ayah 33, 34, that God chose Adam and Noah and the family of Abraham and the family of Imran above all his creatures. And then they are zuriyatan bazu min baz. They are offspring one of the other. We have to remember critically that Ustaz Buzurgwar has written the very first book of prose which he wrote, and which was actually published in 1957 at the time Shah Karim became our 49th Imam. He named that book Chain, Silsila, Chain of the Light of Imamat. A chain is a link, and this link will never be broken. Each link is tied to the previous one. And this is the meaning of offspring one of the other. So this is the universal guidance in the Quran. Now we come to the Holy Prophet Muhammad's time, and the revelation of the Quran to him. And what does the Quran say in Surah 5, Surah 5, ayat number 15? قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ. Indeed, from Allah has come a light and a book. So the Quran tells us very clearly again in Surah 33, ayahs 44 to 46, that Prophet Muhammad was a da'i, a warner, giver of glad tidings, and he was the luminous lamp giving light, Sirajam Munira. And very importantly, we have also given you all the reference of Surah 4, ayat 80, in which God says clearly that those who obey the Prophet indeed obey Allah. And we also recite Surah 48, ayat 10, those who give bayah, Allah's hand is upon their hands. Whereas the hand was that of the Holy Prophet, because the Holy Prophet was the physical attire of that light of God. So Prophet Muhammad, if he did not have God's light, how can his obedience be the obedience of God? So we have to remember about ourselves that the Ismaili Tariqa is not a new subject which suddenly appeared from somewhere. There are certain beliefs which have suddenly appeared, but the Ismaili Tariqa is not like that. Mawlana Sultan Muhammad Shah has said that Ismailism is the most Qadim, meaning it has no beginning and it has no end. Qadim means eternal. No, it's forever. It does not have a beginning or an end. And Prophet Muhammad's light is continuing in the chain of the light of Imamat. In the Ayat an-Nur, which we have also looked at many times in our global lectures, the Ayat an-Nur mentions a misbah, a lamp. A lamp has a body. The light is surrounded by a body of glass which shines like the glittering star. And it is a light which does not need any fire to light it. If it had been lit by a fire, then that would have been a beginning. And if there had been a beginning, there has to be an end. But it is not lit by a fire. It is continuous. It has no beginning and no end. And then Ayat an-Nur goes on to say, Nurun Allah Nur. And this preposition, Allah, upon, light upon light. How can you say light upon light for the absolute light? This light has to have a body for this Allah, this preposition to be used in Arabic, light upon light, link upon link. So it is because of the Imam's body that this is light upon light. And our Buzurgan-e-Din, our great Ismaili Dais and Hujjats have written that, the sun definitely is providing light to the whole of the solar system. But if you use a magnifying glass over, say, a pile of paper, and you use a magnifying glass, it will focus the light of the sun and it will burn the paper underneath it. The Imam's body is like that. The Imam's body centers, it focuses the light of Allah in one center. Perhaps that was why Mawlana Shah Karim used to use this phrase, centrality of Imamat, that the Imam is the mazhar, the focus, the center of divine light. And why do we need that? Because we already said that that is the only way that human beings can reach the reality of God. Otherwise, to know God would be impossible. And for moments, Imam al-Mutaqin, he is the Imam of the righteous, those who follow guidance. And for the rest of mankind, he is also Imam al-Nas, and he is in the form of a human being to be a mercy. And Mubarak to all of us, to the whole of the world, that this mercy is also a reference in the present Imam's holy name, that he is Shah Rahim al-Husseini Hazir Imam. So we will now invite questions. We have given exactly an hour's session. We'll invite questions, but we do request. The question is to now ask questions in the light of what you understand about Imam's hakikat, not about his body only. Yes, Shanaz?
Yeah, Mother, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. My question is that we would earlier for Shah Karim, we would say Shah Karim Al Akram, and now we say Shah Rahim Al Arham.
Yes.
Can
Yes,
I
we
can
have,
I understand? Yes, please.
yes,
Can we
yes.
understand that Shah Rahim Al Arham, please?
You want to understand what?
Yes. The meaning of
Okay,
this.
Fakis, I will explain to you the bit of Arabic grammar. She
Yes.
wants to understand what Shahir Rahim Al-Arham means.
Okay, well, in the Arabic language, it is a question of the grammar of Arabic language. Like you might have heard Kabir. Kabir in Arabic is great. And then, like in greater in English, in a comparative sense, it becomes an Akbar. And then, if you want to say the greatest, the superlative degree, that it becomes Al Akbar. In the same way, there's Rahim and Arham and Al Arham. This question of just Arabic language, the way it is pronounced.
Yeah, it is a matter of language, okay?
Yes.
Great, greater, greatest. So Kabir, Akbar, Al Akbar. In the same way, Rahim, Arham, Al-Arham.
Like Karim, Akram, Al-Akram.
There's a question about Bayya. In fact, what the leadership will do on behalf of is a formal statement, but the very day we heard that our new Imam was Mawlana Shah Rahim al-Husseini, Hazir Imam, those of us who were in Jamaat Khana, we had done Dua Karavi, or we went the day after, we did Dua Karavi. Dua Karavi is an affirmation of our bayya every day. So there will be more than one bayya. There will be the symbolic one which the leadership will do. Then inshallah, I hope that we Jamaat are deserving and that Maulana Shah Rahim will come to all the Jamaats and take bayah in person as well, if that is physically possible, giving the condition of the world today, politically, etc. But bayah is something which is happening every day. You do dua karawi. And of course, the meaning of that is that we obey his farmans. Okay. Okay. We had a hand up, but it's gone off. Okay. Okay, Fakir. In the Quran, it says that we shall call you with your Imam on the day of judgment. For those murids who have witnessed two Imams, which Imam will be with them?
Well, the Imam, when we are leaving this material world, at that time the Imam who is alive.
Yes, Humaira, you know that, for instance, Dr. Saib and I, being the age we are, we have seen the Jama change from Maulana Sultan to Maulana Shah Karim, and now we are indeed very blessed that we have seen from Shah Karim to Shah Rahim. So whichever Imam it was that you pass away in the time of, that is the Imam who will be your witness. Because actually, there is no difference. Only the libas of Maulana Sultan, Shah Karim, and Shah Rahim was different or is different. The hakikat is one. The nur is one. Okay, somebody is asking how do we how to differentiate the concept of Imam as Mazhar of Nur with the Hindu concept of Das Avatar. We have discussed this before in global lectures, that the word avatar and the fact that it talks about 10 avatar. These 10 avatars are not like chain of the light of Imamat, Nurun ala Nur. These avatars are divided across the ages. There are times when there is no avatar. Whereas in the Ismaili concept, this world is never devoid of the light of Imamat. Okay? Okay. No, should be. Yeah, yes, this is a question which I think every single one of us is experiencing. On the one hand, of course, we miss Shah Karim, but if we know the hakikat that Shah Karim is now in Shah Rahim, then I think we should be celebrating because this is why we began by saying that when you have hakikati knowledge, then you definitely will feel very happy that our same Imam, same Noor has taken on a new set of clothing. Okay. Some use is going on. I mentioned. Yes. Riaz is asking that in the paradox of submission, Imam is Imam even in his mother's womb. So please share your thoughts about this. What is it?
Well, I quoted a Persian verse, Gah Piro, Gah Tiflu, Gah Barna Mi Shabad. That Imam sometimes is in the womb of mother as a child, as a young man, and also that these are the different manifestations of the light of Imamat.
Okay, there is a question about have imams given a reason why they are only male imams? Irfan, it is not the imams don't have to give this reason, my friend, my dear brother. This reason is given in the Holy Quran, because the Holy Quran says that it's Hazrat Adam, Hazrat Nuh, the family of Abraham, and the family of Imran above all his creatures or beings, and they are offspring one of the other. When you say offspring one of the other, it can be only through the male line. Okay. Shaheen is asking, it was very difficult to witness our new Hazar Imam so upset during the funeral of Shah Karim. I think, Shaheen, that we are looking at the physical side of the Imam at this point. We should remember that since he is in a physical form, then he also feels for the fact that, his father has passed away. The whole of the Nurani family, you can say that. For Prince Amin, brother, as well as Imam. So, of course, they will show that upset, but that is not, and don't forget that they are not only amongst Ismailis at this type of public ceremony. So, of course, you would show that you are upset. You could see that the grandchildren were upset because they are that age. But once again, when we have these sort of thoughts, we should quickly bring our minds back to the fact that that the Imam has the nur, the same nur of Shah Karim.
Yeah, we mentioned that Imam trophies, they don't have death. If that is the case, then why they should be worried from a spiritual point of view? It is the same haqiqah, but as far as these worldly concerns are concerned, Imam has to live in a worldly sense.
Okay. Okay, we have this question also. Why is it only men are allowed to go to the cemetery and not women? Okay, now we have mentioned many times on this platform that according to the Holy Prophet Muhammad's hadith about where he says that if in my time you give up
1/10.
1/10 of what has been commanded, you will perish. But a time will come when those who maintain or practice 10% will be saved. So all the 10%, if you like, or just a few aspects of Sharia are within the Ismaili practice. So therefore, the funeral of Mawlana Hazir Imam was the way it was. That was a Sharia practice. That was not a Hakika practice. So according to Sharia, women do not go to the cemetery. Only the men go, because there is the carrying of the janaza and all the physical actions like etc. Okay, so this is the reason why that within the Hakikati Ismaili Tariqa there is some Sharia, and we should try and not mix the two. Okay. Yes, so Amina has asked a question which I will just answered, that we are doing all this Sharia, etc., because we are part and parcel of the Muslim Ummah, and we are acting according to the Prophet's guidance of that hadith. Okay? But our concept is that there is evolution and that we will do what Maulana Hazar Imam tells us to do. Okay? We will obey him more than any other Imam. Okay? whatever Mawlana Shah Rahim changes from the previous Imams, we have to follow Mawlana Shah Rahim. Are there any more questions? Do you want to put your hands up, anybody? Yes, Sultanuddin?
Ya Alimadat Bulugar, Dr. Sahib, Ya Alimadat Bulugar, Rashid Saiba. First of all, humble thanks to your presence for being there in such a critical time, such a pivotal time. And thank you for holding our hands, literally. And my question is that with regard to Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Rajiun, we respect the Anai Ulawi, or the origin of everything is one, when the origin of everything is one, and based on the principle that Ma Amadanese means Saya Imas, we have not come, it's our shadow. So we're the meaning of Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Rajiun based on this principle. And with respect to the our souls and Imam souls, the difference, please, on this one. This is one question, and attached to that, as we call Zinda Qabr, or living Qabr for the Imam is Sabiq. If you may shed some light on that, please.
Yes, first question about Manamada Nistim. Does this
Yeah.
apply to the Imams? So?
When we say Anai Ulwi and Anai Sufli, where is Anai Ulwi? Anai Ulwi is Imam himself, and Anai Sufli are his murids, like rays of the sun. And as far the closeness to Imam is concerned, if we have really attained the Marifah, then such a moment has merged in the light of Imam. But if the Marifah is not close, still we feel that we are away, we are far from the Imam of the time. In reality, we are not far, but because of the lack of knowledge, we think that we are away from Imam's light. And for that, the only cure is, again, the ilmul yaqeen. And if we complete ilmul yaqeen, then inshallah we will enter into ainul yaqeen, and then ainul yaqeen to haqqul yaqeen. Once we have that haqqul yaqeen, even on this earth, we will feel that we are in Anai Ulwi, like our great peers. All of them, they were living on the physical plane, but they were feeling that they are in the Anai Ulwi. That P. Nasir says, Garmandari sarai nabi nam daran sarai, Imruz jai khish chibayet basar mara. The translation you know far better. So, Garmandari sarai nabi nam daran sarai. Despite being in this world, if I am not able to see what is my position in the next world, then he says, what is the use of my eyes?
And if a peer like Hakim Pir Nasir Kisrao can say that, and the Pir Sadruddin has said similar things, what does that mean? That if the reflected light of Imamat can make such a statement, what about the Imam himself? Hmm? The Imam is wakulla shay'in. So there is no question of Maulana Rumi's Manamadan Nissim applying to the Imams, right? That is for us, Mu'mineen, okay? For the Imam, he was that ocean, and he still remains that ocean. Okay, there are lots of questions. I hope, did we, oh yes, you talked about Zinda Qabr.
Oh, okay. Zinda Qabr, every Imam is Sabiq and Imam Lahiq. The living qabr of the previous Imam is the following Imam. Like Mawlana Shah Karim's light hasn't gone to the physical grave, that light is in the Mawlana Shah Rahim al-Husseini.
Rahim, yes.
That is, I think you are well aware of the Wajhuddin chapter 19. At the end of the chapter 19, the Holy Prophet is quoting a hadith, بين قبري ومنبري روضة من رياض الجنة. Between my grave and my pulpit, there is a garden among the gardens of the paradise. Then Ustad Gilami gives additional tawil. Had this hadith has any physical meaning, then the Prophet's pulpit should be mentioned first, then his qabr. But here the Holy Prophet first he mentions the qabr, then the mimbar. Then he said the Mawlana, then the Holy Prophet's qabr was Mawlana Ali. The light transferred to Mawlana Ali. And the pulpit is a Hazrati Qaimul Qiyamat. In his time, Prophet's status will be proclaimed to the whole world, and the whole world will realize the importance of the Holy Prophet.
And this is also reflected in Allama Sahib's Burshasky poetry, where he says the Arif's soul does not go into the 6-foot hole. Yeah, that has a much higher place. And that was also the gist of what P. Nasir said. Okay, let's go on because quite a few questions are still outstanding. Is it possible to know about the passing on of the Nur in the batin before it happens in the physical space? Yes, if you are spiritually advanced, if you have made good use of your Isma Azam and practice your faith rigorously, as Shah Karim used to say, yes, it is possible. Direct question, okay. If the person is not able to go to Jamaat Khana for reaffirmation bayah, what alternative do we have? The alternative is to make sure you obey every single farman of the Imam of the time, because that is the meaning of bayah, that is the meaning of sajada. Prostration means to submit our irada, our will to the Imam of the time, okay? How can we explain the Shariati Akli and Shariati Wazi in this regard? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Nasir. I think you should understand these words very clearly before you ask this question. I do not understand what you are seeking. If you can make your question more direct, it would help us. Okay. Yes. Somebody is asking that, we have ceremonies like our chanta. I want to make a correction here to your question. In our tariqa, that is not correct. That is, this question shows that you have not really understood the diversity of the Jamaat. There are no chantas in any other Jamaat except the subcontinent Jamaat. They do not have chanta in Chitral and in Hunza, yes, etc., or in Tajikistan, or in Afghanistan, or in Iran, or in Syria. Okay? So you need to know more about diversity. Okay? When did Maulana Shah Rahim become aware that he was the successor of Maulana Shah Karim?
So that is not our business. That our business is that Imam makes nas. The previous Imam makes nas on the following Imam, and we have to follow the Maulana Shah Rahim according to the nas of Maulana Shah Karim al-Husayni.
Okay.
But again, if you are an Arif, so you will come to know these secrets. But if you are not in that level, there is no point of discussing such things.
I don't, what is the marifat of the Imam? The marifat of the Imam is to realize that he is the light of God, that he has only taken on a bodily attire in order to guide other human beings to perfection. On this platform, we have repeated this statement of Adai so many times that even though many of us do not know Arabic, we have learned this off completely, which is that kamilun fi zatihi wa mukammilun li ghairihi. The Imam is perfect in himself and he perfects others. So the marifat of the Imam is to leave aside his body and think of his nur. And if you remember him more and more, as we have heard in the farmans of Shah Karim, to remember Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad, the present Imam, all the Imams, that will make you come closer to that recognition of the Imam. Okay? Okay, somebody is asking that somebody has told them to recite the Tasbih Ya Rahimul Karim. Is this grammatically correct?
No, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim.
It should be Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, okay? I don't know who asked that question. Ismaili, okay, to everyone, okay. So if you want to recite a tasbih of both these names, you should say Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, okay. Bihurmati. And Inara is asking, why is the burial will be done twice, right? And wouldn't taking the body from the temporary burial site and moving after years be hurmati? No, Inara, you see, this question is also about the body more than the hakikat. Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah's mausoleum was ready because Mata Salamat had planned it all before. And so his body was laid to rest immediately there. Shah Karim, we have heard today that there will be another mausoleum for him. It doesn't matter. This is a matter of respect and remembering by the Jamaat and the family, but it doesn't matter. The Nur has passed into Shah Rahim. Yes? So there's no question of Behurmati. Mata Salamat also was buried after many months of not being buried. Okay? Nimet, you're asking me a question about what was heard in a verse by a previous marhum Alwais. I don't feel I want to answer this question, but look, we have said, right, that our world cannot end just like that, okay? Um, God's creation. Maulana Sultan Shah says in his memoirs that the Islamic concept of creation is very different. It has no beginning and no end. Yes, within this creation, if a star or a planet somewhere disappears, another will be born, right? It's a dynamic thing, okay? It's not a static thing. Okay, let's go on. It's the physical body. This Sahil has heard a verse in which some Alwais has said that Imam's bodies do not decompose.
I don't know whether that wise has checked Imam's body.
Yes, one would have to ask Sahil if that Alwais had gone and checked bodies, but, that is not a question that we can answer logically. You know,
How people think.
a body is a body, right? It has to decompose.
Our concern is with the light of Imam.
Yes.
Yeah, concerned with the light.
Right at the beginning, I said, please ask your question in the light of the Nur and not bodily questions, right? Okay.
Today we have the 50th Imam. We have. So, are we have 50 Imams separately, or the body was only the means of
We have them together.
body to another body? We are not submitting to 50 Imams, but the Imam's light is the same. But the bodies are different. That is not important thing in Islamism.
Okay. Amina, you're asking a question about Chanta, which I've already answered. Okay. Chanta is not necessarily part of the Sharia practice. It was something which we think may have been introduced in the context of the Indian culture during the Indian da'wah. Okay? Okay? Okay, for the criteria for the rightful nomination, I think we would advise you to read Nasir Kisraw's Wajuddin. Which chapter would that be?
Chapter 36.
Chapter 36, right? Because there are many criteria. Time is passing. Everybody needs to go to Jamaat Khana, particularly I, because I have a waro today. So I would recommend you read chapter 36 of Wajuddin, okay? And okay, so that will probably help you to answer also the first part of your question, okay? Trying. It is not nashukri to feel sorry that the physical body of Shah Karim is no more. It's not that. It is human to
It's
miss him.
out of love.
Yeah, it is out of love. So when you are crying, cry for the nafarmanis that we did, even though we loved him so much.
Yeah.
How many times we did not follow his farman? And that will turn into not just ordinary crying, but into Giryazari. And then make a promise to yourself to obey the present Imam.
And turn attention towards the present Imam. That he is Hazir and Nazir now.
Yes, Dilawar Sahib is asking that since the body has no physical meaning, why do we have to build a mausoleum? That is not something we decide, Dr. Sahib. This is something we should leave to the family of the Imam. And having a mausoleum is a reminder, to have. We are not like certain sects of Islam that destroy cupboards and things like that. Okay, we respect the body because that body was the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Yes, and also related to history,
Yes.
how much one Imam has done in one body.
Yes, exactly. So we do need reminders. We human beings are so weak, we forget all the time, right? Okay. No, Amina, you are wrong when you say Chanta is from the time of the Prophet Muhammad. If you think it is, can you find us a reference? Because we don't think it is from that time, okay? Yes, somebody has already given you that answer. Okay. More explanation on Zinda Kabar. Yeah, definitely. Saima is saying that we need more explanation on Zinda Kabar.
Yeah, then read again this Wajuddin, chapter 19, end of the chapter 19 of Wajuddin.
End of the chapter 19 of Wajuddin will give you more explanation of what is a Zinda Kabar, okay? All right. Right. Okay, Zahra, you have your hand up?
Dr. Sahib, Sahiba. The question I have is sometimes it's my own feeling, based on my own feeling, I'm having that question is I do see everybody saying inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un when Mawlana Shah Karim al-Hussaini passed away. But I personally cannot say that. I don't know. It's
Yes, you are a Hakikati Mu'min. Therefore, you find it difficult. We also find it difficult.
Same question.
Sorry?
Same thing about Inilahi Rajiun.
Didn't understand what you said.
So my question is, am
I
I
got
doing
your
something
question,
wrong?
but somebody interrupted, right? Okay. They have the same question. I think that's what they are saying. Okay. What we have said again and again, right, is that let us try, look, okay, let us try and understand that in the Ismaili Tariqah, there is a level of Sharia, you know, small part. Then there is a level of Tariqah, but the majority of our belief is on the level of Hakika, because we all want to try and reach the level of Marifa. Okay? We are not going to stay only in Hakika, inshallah. This global lectures and those who come to it are obviously people who want to go even further than Hakikat. Now, every moment should understand that these are personal aspirations, right? Each one of us is hoping for something from our faith, from our devotion and love to the Imam of the time, okay? But we should also understand that from the worldly point of view, all four levels should also be present. And therefore, since, you know, uh, for most people, the Imam is separate from Allah. For many people, there are two realities. One is Allah and one is Imam. Although many times we have quoted Imam's quotations where we know that the ta'wil of Allah is the Imam. So those who believe in the ta'wil of Allah being the Imam, for them this inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, yeah, it is just for those who are on the level of Sharia within the Jamaat. Okay? So you have to be able to judge that in this ceremony, this was all exoteric. Okay?
No, well, that doesn't belong, doesn't belong to the Imam of the time, rather it is related to the Mu'mins. Similar verses are there. For instance, in some verses, Allah says, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا مَا يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, and you don't wish except what Allah wishes. So this once again is not for each and every individual. This is about the Kamilin or Arifin, but for ordinary people, this at the end of the Surah Baqarah, there is a verse, Laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. According to this verse, every individual is responsible for his or her own deeds. And here it is the beginning of the spiritual journey of any individual. But وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا مَا يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, and you wish only what Allah wishes. This belongs to, but instead if somebody is killing somebody, some people are lying, and there's many bad things. This Allah is not causing them to do this type of thing. This is about ordinary people. But Kamilin, their will has merged in divine will, and therefore they can't do anything except, well, if Allah's will is in the light of Allah's will. So such verses, the point is there are verses which are related to ordinary moments, and there are verses which are related to those who are advanced. So this inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un is related to ordinary moments. So we have come as an eye sifli, the lower eye, and we are returning to Imam of the time, who is the end of our spiritual journey. I hope this will make sense.
Inshallah. Okay. Why do we not teach Jamaat esoteric faith?
So
It's all, wait a minute. Let me answer that, okay? Please, okay? Look, this is where I'm talking about Farman Bardari. How many times have I read that Farman from the little blue book? 1967. Ours is an esoteric faith. Esoteric means what is written is there, but its meaning is there only for the Jamaat, those who are part of the Jamaat. We are esoteric, and we are always putting the responsibility on others. Why are we not taught? My question to be is, why are you not taking the trouble to do a personal search, like Shah Karim had said in the Farman? Why are we not understanding what the Imam means when he says ours is an intellectual tradition? Ours is not by rote. Our faith is not by rote. Our faith is by conviction, not convenience. These are all the words of Shah Karim. And that's why I said, when you feel like crying for the love of the previous Imam, cry for our nafarmanis. Make it Giri and let us then also pledge that we are not going to make the same mistake with our present Imam. Let's do a person. Let's go to Global Lecture website. Let's go to Ismaili Literature website. Let's go to those places where there is knowledge, real knowledge about the Ismaili Tariqa. Okay?
Okay, in addition to that, why we are not doing such and such, these things do not belong to us. So these things, these matters belong to the institutions. You can ask the institutions why we are not doing this. It is not in our hand. So please, even in future, we should be aware of these differences. So we are humble servants. We don't have any authority. But if you are asking from the source, from the Quran, from Hadith, from Imam's Farman, according to our limited capacity, we will try. But not why we are not doing such and such thing. This is not in our scope.
Okay. Okay. So they say they don't reply. Okay. All right. I have there are so many things coming up that, yes, about the presence of women from the Nurani family. Yeah, this is according to Sharia, okay? And the Imam has to, look, he is called Pir Sharia, no, sorry, Shah Sharia, Pir Tariqa, Imam Hakika, and then Uluhiyat, right? So remember that you have listened to all these things, and now you have to apply those things to our present situation. Okay? Difference between Kamil Mumin and Mukammil Mumin. Okay, the Kamil Mumin is the Imam of the time. Okay? And when he perfects us, if we follow his guidance and do the ibadat of paroliye and do farman bardari, then we, inshallah, one day will become mukammil. Perfect, yeah? Okay. Thank
No,
you.
not Mukammil. Mukammil is Imam of the time.
Yeah, sorry. I mean,
Kamilun fi zatihi, he himself is Kamil and he is making Kamil others.
others. Yeah, you remember, let's go back to this because maybe it'll help to understand. Look, do you remember that Farman of Maputo, Mozambique? What has Imam said? Shah Karim, Mawlana, when he was the Imam of the time. What did he say? It is not important to be successful in oneself. How many others did you help to make successful? So a mukammil is the one who reaches perfection and then helps others, like the imam, like peers and arifs. They reach perfection and then they are not satisfied with that. They help others to become kamil. Yeah? Okay. 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 That's the end of those questions. And once again, a very humble request to all of you in all that is happening now and in the near future, keep your focus on the nur of imamat, because it is the nur that we have the relationship with. You remember the 13th of December talika of Shah Karim to the Jamaat? He said, my Jamaats have come through many difficulties throughout its history with the strength of knowledge that they have a spiritual bond with the Imam. And our preamble of the Constitution says Baya is a permanent spiritual bond. So remember that and focus on the Noor and don't mix the different levels of Sharia, Tariqa, Hakika, Marifa. Okay? Thank you very much. I'm not going to be, let me see what has come up. Yeah. Okay. What happens here? Do you know how many Imams there will be? We have said, my dear, that Imamat is not something that ends. It's a permanent institution. No beginning, no end. Okay? Okay. Some of you send so many things which we can't read. Okay? There is no time. Yes, yes, Azra, Sharia is still applicable during the Dore Kiamat, but in that very little, like like Fakir Sahib has explained to all of you, that, you know, the last bit of light you see when the sun is setting behind the mountain, that last bit, only that much, okay? And also with understanding, you know, Sharia is not something alien to us. It is what Prophet Muhammad appointed for the Ummah. But we believe in the meaning of the Sharia, which is on the level of Hakika. For us, Sharia is important. It is the bud which became the flower and then the fruit. Okay, thank you, everybody. I have to go now because I have this waro. Inshallah, Mawla will be with you all. Remember the Noor. Remember the Noor.
Ameen.
Ya Noor, Ya Noor, Ya Noor is also a tasbih, okay?
Ameen.
Ya
Ameen.
Ali Madad,
Ya Ali
Mawla
Madad,
bless you
Ya
with
Ali
his Noor.
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad,
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 Ya
Ya
Ali
Ali
Madad,
Madad.
Thank you
Ya
very
Ali
much.
Madad, Ya Ali Madad,
Madad. Thank you very much. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad,
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Thank you.
Ya Ali Madad.